Good evening, everyone. You are welcome to Richmond Cyber Chats. We do this every Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And tonight, as usual, we are starting off. You are all welcome. Happy Friday to everyone. Like Alan will always say, you are most welcome. Kindly put your location where you're joining us from in the chat. Halfway through the program, we are going to acknowledge everybody. And I appreciate everybody who is, saying hello to everyone in the chat. Please go ahead and put your location that you're joining us from in the chat. And we are also transmitting live on YouTube. So good news, our YouTube channel, I think we are currently at 223,000. About 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, we just hit 10K. And within that span, we hit 200K already. So appreciate everybody's support and help. So kindly put your location in the chat, and we are starting time now. So tonight we will be looking at our Cybersecurity GRC. Now for our entry-level internship, we've made it a full-blown GRC internship that you are going to go through. So we are launching that tonight, and we are going to go through all the different aspects of it and what is included in the curriculum now, what is the change, and then also the companies that we are working for. We're still going to hang on to the two companies we're working for during the internship, and then we are going to look at some of the inputs from our just past interns who did their graduation last week. Probably watch some excerpts from their graduation as well, right? You are welcome to Arithmetic Academy. Arithmetic Academy is a cybersecurity training institute based out of New York, and they are the ones bringing you this every Friday night. And I'm Dr. Emmanuel Edu. I'm your facilitator for Cyber Chats for the most part. I'm a former United States Army captain. I'm the founder of Arithmetic Academy and also the CEO of Arithmetic Inc. And Arithmetic Inc. is a cybersecurity PCI QSA company based out of New York. And we also do all other cybersecurity consulting services as well. So you are welcome. We are going to get started. Now, before we jump into this, we are partners. Arithmetic Academy is an authorized partner with CompTIA. And what does this mean to you and everybody within the Arithmetic family? You save 20% on all CompTIA exams. So if you want to write any of these CompTIA Security Plus, Security Analyst exams, and the rest, just reach out to us and we will show you how you're going to get your 20% discount. Now, for continuous education, for cybersecurity certifications, once you write it, once you've written it, right, every 3 years you have to renew. So you can renew by either resitting for the exam and passing, or you can show that you've been continuously learning and improving your skill set as a security professional. And you can use that towards your renewal, right? We call that continuing education or like continual education points. So with this chart that you are on right now, you will be able to, or you are able to use it to show that you are continuously learning and improving your security knowledge and skill. So how to go about this? We've gone over this a couple of times. I think Michael did go over this a couple of times, but we've had several folks reaching out to ask how they will be able to go about this. So we are going to just demonstrate for CompTIA, right? Just briefly, and then we'll move forward. So for CompTIA, if you have any CompTIA certifications and it's coming up for renewal, when you go to CompTIA's website, you are going to go to add CEUs. So CompTIA, they for their continuous education, they call it CEUs. So you are going to click on this. It's going to take you to a page that looks like this one, right? And then it's going to ask you, you can submit webinars and the number of hours that the webinars lasted for. So for us, you need only 10 CEUs towards this renewal, right? So if you've been to 10 cyber chats, whether live or you watch it on YouTube, you can use it as well, right? So this is what you are going to be using. And this is where you go to add these, like the individual cyber chats that you've been to or the ones that you watched on YouTube, right? So hopefully everybody is good on this now. And we have a WhatsApp group. right? We are going to post the link at the end of the program. So you can join our WhatsApp group. The invitation to all cyber chats and everything that we do, we post in the WhatsApp group. We are almost like 950 on the WhatsApp group. So you kindly join. Very informative, and you have like-minded people on there, trying to share ideas as well. So you'll be able to gain a lot of insight from your other colleagues who are on there. Okay. And also for our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe. Like I said, we are almost 230,000 now. So kindly spread the word. We have a lot of really good info on our YouTube channel. Everything we do for cyber chat, we do post it on YouTube. So you can go there and revisit other cyber chat that you probably missed and learn a lot from it, right? And so tonight we are going to jump into our new Cybersecurity GRC, or our improved and even better Cybersecurity GRC internship that we are going to launch tonight. And before we move into the actual GRC internship, we are going to be looking at some cyber news, right? So in the news, before we jump into the cyber news that Dr. Edo is bringing, like we always do when we started almost a month ago, I'll pick two cyber news from the family, and then we are going to discuss the cyber news that Dr. Edo is bringing this week, right? So if you have any cyber news, yes, Brian, please go ahead. You can raise your virtual hand and we'll give you the floor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I wanted to talk about Change Healthcare. They had a big cybersecurity attack, and it was a ransomware attack, and rumor has it that it was a Screen Connect exploit that happened that they were able to get in. So also the rumor is that they paid $22 million in ransomware. Don't know if that's true or not, but
Wow.
They still are scrambling to get everything back in order because patients can't receive their prescriptions, doctors can't operate correctly. It is one of the largest healthcare cybersecurity attacks that has ever happened so far. So it's affecting patients, it's affecting how doctors get paid, it's affecting how nurses get paid, it's affecting the whole healthcare system. And it was the payment side that got affected. So that's what happened.
Oh, okay. So that also has some PCI twist to it.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right. All right. Thank you, Brian. Anybody else with cyber news for this week? All right, then we are going to move on to the one Dr. Edo is bringing. I appreciate your insight, Brian. So in cyber news this week, TikTok is in the news, and they are in the news for what? So US lawmakers, and I don't know, like around 2020, right? There was this beef between President Trump and TikTok, going back and forth, and he was trying to ban TikTok in the United States, but the courts didn't uphold that. They thought it was an infringement on the rights of people and then on the rights of the company. Now, this week, US lawmakers, they approved a bill forcing TikTok to divest their company or face a ban, right? So the House, they've given them 6 months to sell some of their shares to probably some US partners or some other partners in Europe, because Congress or these lawmakers, they are concerned that TikTok might be leaking the information of United States citizens to China, which we don't know that for a fact, but that is a concern. So that is why they are coming up with this bill. So if TikTok thinks they are not going to comply with this, then the US is going to ban them. So nobody in the US will be able to use TikTok. It's not going to be available in Apple Store and Google Play Store, in the United States. And currently TikTok, they have over 170 million US users, right? So a lot of content creators who are making money on TikTok, companies who are advertising on TikTok that is helping their business, and all that, is in question now, because if TikTok does not comply, then all these people are going to be affected, right? And it looks like they are kind of being forced, to do this, but then US also, the lawmakers, they have a genuine concern. So they probably, both companies, or both the lawmakers and TikTok, will probably have to come to an amicable settlement, because during this vote, it was 50-0, right? So everybody on there agreed to, yes, we are going to ban them if they don't, sell some of their shares, and kind of diversify their stakeholders, because US suspects that China is the Chinese government is behind this, right? So that is one of the biggest in the news. And TikTok says it has not and would not share US user data with the Chinese government. That is what they are saying, and I don't think the lawmakers believe them. So that is why they are forcing them to, split up some of their equity, so the US will be more comfortable and know that is not TikTok is not solely owned by a Chinese investment company, or they don't have any strong ties with the Chinese government, right? So maybe probably when we are done with cyber news, you can also share your take on this, at least two or three people from the audience, and then we'll move on. So that is our first cyber news for this week. Now, the second one has to do with an FBI report that came out this week also. And this report was about cybercrime, and one of the most expensive or the most costly cybercrime in 2023. Guess what that was? Anybody? I mean, I know it's on the screen, but what would have been your guess? The biggest or the most costly cybercrime in 2023? What anybody from the audience, or maybe a couple of folks from the audience?
Ransomware.
Yeah, ransomware. Okay, Prince and AD, they said ransomware. Anybody else? Phishing. Okay. Go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say, not ransomware phishing, but it was what they take people's identity theft, fraud.
Identity theft. Okay. Uche, please go ahead.
Yes, social engineering.
Social engineering. Yes. Social engineering. In the broader perspective, yes. Social engineering. So there is this ransomware gang. They call themselves Lockbit. They are really notorious for, hitting most US companies with ransomware and collecting huge sums of money. They are like a big company, at least for one ransomware, just an example of what Brian was talking about. For big companies, once they hit you, at least they will take not anything, they don't take anything less than uh $10 million, right? So 10, 15, 20, and sometimes they don't even release your data, because they will encrypt the data, so they'll take your data hostage. That is where we get the name ransom and the where. So it's a malicious software that they are going to use to, capture your data and hold it hostage until you pay, right? Sometimes even when you pay, they don't release the information, right? So this crime company, if you have to call it that way, they are most notorious for, hitting companies with ransomware and, collecting huge sums of money. Now, in 2023, though, they also push and peddle a form of cyber attack that is outside ransomware. And this is what they were pushing was more on the side of investment fraud, right? So investment fraud was the most expensive or the most costly in terms of money lost from companies and from everybody else, right? So what they did was they will pose to have some investments. So different phishing attacks or like different phishing campaigns will send such campaigns out about investment, and people will fall for it, and people will pay, hoping and thinking they are going to get some good returns on their investment. So some of these were even in the crypto space, right? You are going to pay in, hoping it's a genuine investment, and then you later to find out it's a bogus investment, right? So that cost, it's like it cost almost 4.5 billion, more than the 2022, which the same type of attack the attackers were able to pull off, or they were able to, gain in excess of 3.3 billion. So there was an increase from 2022 to 2023, an increase of almost 40%, right? An increase of almost 40% in this type of attack. So although they are making this particular company, they are making some money out of ransomware, but then the most that they made in terms of cybercrime and the type of attack that was very successful for them was the investment fraud. Right? So just be on the lookout for such campaigns. So sometimes they'll have a full-blown website. It's not just an email. It looks very legit. It looks genuine. There are people who are even going to call you, or you are going to call somebody who will be on the receiving end to answer your questions and all that. That doesn't make it legit. Right? So please do your due diligence and dig more into these if you want to invest in any form of investment venture. So, and also, second to, guess what the second highest, costliest cybercrime was after your investment fraud? Next to that was what we talked about last 2 weeks, business email compromise, right? So where these attackers will come up with some social engineering tricks, and they are able to send bogus invoices to companies to pay. And, in today's times that we are in, it's very easy to fall for this, right? To the point where they have like deepfake setups where you have your CEO or somebody in high authority talking to you via Zoom or whatever, but then it's going to be some AI doing all that, and you think it's a natural person, and they look and sound exactly like your boss or whoever is giving you that instructions. So next to the most costliest was also business email compromise, like we discussed last 2 weeks. And attackers were able to get away with almost 3 billion in this form of attack, right? And there were almost 21,000 complaints that were filed with FBI. Now, these are all these figures, they are from attacks that were reported, right? So companies that felt, ashamed to even report this, all those numbers we didn't get, right? So that is for cyber news for this week. Any take from the audience, and then we are going to move ahead. We're going to take just 2 or 3. If you have maybe something on these lines or some personal experience with this, you can chime in, and then we are going to move on into our internship, GRC internship that we are launching tonight. Rainey, please go ahead.
Yeah, I got impacted this week. I had paid my Verizon bill, and after I paid it, someone, well, I don't know, with 1 or 2 people, they sent me an email saying that if you don't pay your Verizon bill, this is going to happen. But the thing was is that I'd already paid it. So I knew this was a scam trying to go through, and they were just trying to get access to my information. And then I had another one where I've been getting a couple of them, but now I'm starting to get real smart on what to look for since I've been in your classes. And it seems to be working. It's like, don't open it up. Don't do, because I'm getting a lot about the cloud. Like your cloud, we're going to take all your files and we're going to do this if you don't hurry up. And I'm saying to myself, So when I called my phone company up, they said that's a scam because we don't send anything like that out. So don't even worry about it, ignore it and delete it. And I said, I try to block it, but they use different numbers to contact you and send another email out. So they just, now that I know the setup, I just don't even, I just delete them.
Okay.
Yep.
Great to know, Rainy, and great insight. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? Alan, please go ahead.
Just want to talk about the crime aspect of it. But I was reading last week the release of NIST TSF 2.0. Is it happened last week? I don't know. I was reading last week, so it came out significantly. It impacts the security software supply chains. And still I'm reading to learn it. I just want to mention it. So that release was, it talked about the new components on the software supply chains. So I'm encourage everybody to read it. So I'm still learning.
Okay. Alan, thank you for that. All right. So we are going to jump into our Cybersecurity GRC Internship. We are launching this evening. And this is not a new program, but it's an improved one moving forward. I think there is another hand up. So we are going to take Raymond and then we will move forward. Go ahead, Raymond.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Dr. Hadu. Yeah, it's regarding the attack on United Healthcare. That is actually still they are still fighting it since February 21, which was reported that it was black hats. And I think I read it today that they paid a ransom of $22 million. So it's still on the news, and I think every week now it's still there, and they've not been able to find a solution to that. I think they're saying that they are building an alternative they are building an alternative server and a new database for their system. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Raymond. And maybe since we are all here learning, since this is the second time we are bringing up this type of ransomware, I want maybe 2 or 3 people to give some insight. How do you think a company can prevent, or not prevent, but how do you think a company will be able to recover very easily from a ransomware attack, right? And like I said earlier on, for ransomware attack, if you're not very familiar with it, you know how back in the days, criminals will kidnap somebody and they'll ask for money before they release that person, money in terms of ransom, before they release that person, or that, mostly it was like a high profile person or their family or something on those lines. In the cyberspace, they do the same thing, but here they are not kidnapping people, they are kidnapping your data, right? So your data in your systems, and they are asking for money, right? How they do it, or the whole concept of it, is what we term as ransomware. So the ransomware, it comes out of malicious software, which malicious software is also simply a bad software that attackers are going to use to, take over your system, right? So either encrypt or simply just take over and be able to steal your data, right? So a form of that is if they are able to capture your information and they are asking for money, then we term it as ransomware, right? So how do you think you as an individual or a company can protect themselves against ransomware? Or even if it does occur, what measures could you have put in place prior to that to help your organization or yourself to easily recover from this, right? Anybody want to share some insight? Or, I think there are some hands up already. Demetrius, please go ahead.
First thing that comes to mind is backup, whether it be cloud or some type of physical storage like a NAS or SAN, etc. Whatever the company can afford. I mean, it's going to depend, but overall backup, yeah.
Yeah. So with backup, like Dimitri just said, I'm going to break it down grandpa style. So with the example that I gave, right, you know how they can kidnap somebody and ask for money? That is the traditional ransom form of attack. So what if we could clone that person that they kidnapped, right? We probably clone another Demetrius who is exactly, everything that we need from Demetrius, he has. So we can clone. So if they take Demetrius, the one Demetrius, we have 3 of them. If they take one, I mean, what do we care? They can take that away. Take that Demetrius. We have 2 more, right? So any information that we need, if Demetrius has to go to work, he has to do something, he's able to do that. The second Demetrius will be doing all that and everything will be fine. That is backup. Right now, I mean, obviously for people and human beings, we cannot clone ourselves, but for data, we can clone data. And, cloning is not the right word, but we can back up data. So we are just making copies, right? So when they capture this data and they are like, if you don't pay me, I'm not going to give you that data. We will be like, I mean, you can take it for all we care, because guess what? We have the same type of data that we can use for anything that we are doing. Right. So backup is one of the key ways that we can, overcome this. So you might be thinking, this hospital is a huge hospital. If they have 22 million to pay for a ransom, I mean, it means they have enough to employ or put in place the resources to be able to have a really good backup. That way, this would have been like, okay, we don't care. We have the backup, so you can take the data that you took. Right. But mostly that is not the case. Some of these companies, they don't take security as seriously, or they'll pretend they are taking security seriously until they get hit with, things like this. Go ahead, Kingsley.
Yeah, I was going to say backup and also make sure that your data is encrypted at every point. So even if they have that data, they might not be able to make any sense out of it if it's properly encrypted.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Kingsley. Arini, please go ahead.
Yeah, I also have the same idea. Encryption of data address and emotion. Ensure that there is strong authentication processes for users of the system. Also strengthening the segregation of duties, saying that one person does not start the process and end it, so that another person's work will be checked by another person. Then keeping the security barriers. In other words, introduce zero trust for each layer of security for the organization, saying that the CEO self is not trusted. That would be a strong way. And then education, safety awareness for the entire staff, regular, at least every quarter or every half a year. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Arini. Jamal, please go ahead.
Yes, mine was with the backup also, and I'm just asking this question. I don't know if it's a practice or not, but is there a way to possibly set up decoy honeypots that would look similar to the actual data, and then when they hit one of the honeypots, it would redirect them into an area which would simultaneously detect you to let someone know, that they're trying to get in also?
Yes, it's very possible, right? Like companies, they do that. Like some companies who are taking security seriously, they do that, and those are also forms of defense, right? And with the honeypots and your honey nets, you use that to study your attacker, and then also to see how they move and how they operate. So yes, you can do that, right? That is if the company is willing to invest in that area of defense, right? But great question. Mo. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm thinking of having a good incident response plan, which could include all that has been talked about, like having backup and so you can quickly, spring into action once an incident takes place.
Yes, great point, Mike. So, we discussed incident response on Cyber Chat a while ago, and we used some case studies to see what incident response looks like in real time and why the need for incident response and all that. So one of the reasons why it's taking this company a while to respond to this and to have it under control. I don't know what they have for incident response, so I can only speculate. And also based on my professional experience, companies with really strong incident response program in place and a very strong incident response team in place, mostly when they get hit with an incident like this, no matter how grave the incident is, they are easily able to put it under control within the shortest possible time. Right. But companies that are not taking incident response that seriously and they don't have a very strong and dynamic incident response team in place, it takes them it is going to take them forever, even with the slightest of incidents. Because your incident response team, they are the ones who are going to spring to action when something like this happens. And if they have, they've been doing this and practicing with their tabletop exercises, and they have everything in muscle memory, it's going to take them way less time. A very typical example, if for your fire department, if they have not been performing drills and they've not been, practicing for the past year and there's a fire, right? How long do you think it's going to take a team of fire, personnel who have not been practicing and who have not been training together for the past 1 year, as opposed to one that has been practicing almost every week? How long is it going to take them to get their fire truck to the location of the fire and even to put it off? Right. So look at incident response. What they do at the fire department is a very typical example of incident response, right? But DS is specifically for fire and other related issues, right? So if they are very cohesive team, they've been working together, they've been practicing different scenarios. No matter how big the fire is, they will be able to at least do something and reduce the effects of it. Right? So great point, Mike. Thank you. Naftali, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I don't know if you're referring to me.
Oh, okay. No, Nathaniel, not Naftali.
Nathaniel,
Please
yeah,
go ahead.
Nathaniel.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
Nathaniel.
That hospital incident was a very serious case. They outsourced the equipment to the company I work with.
Oh, okay.
So they put in for 900,000 pieces of laptops. So they want to change. It's a serious thing. So they want to just leave from plan A to plan B. They want a fresh start. So with the ransom money, they are still negotiating it, whether they should pay or not. So the first measure is to replace all the endpoints. So today we had our project to close. The whole week we've been doing overtime to meet our demand. So the 900,000 laptops are already being shipped today. Yes. So it's a serious thing. Yeah.
900,000 endpoints.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is.
And they had us to change the equipment. Will process their units with the diagnostic equipment, the tool, and what have you. And then they had to do some checks on our various decks to see who is tampering with what and what have you. They brought it all the way over to us. We are just on the outsourced side, So they had to check your bench. They had to check your system if you run anything. Like I had this Linux table mat. I would question why is it there and what have you. I said, well, I got it for the shortcuts. God, that's all. I don't do Linux on the machine. I only do diagnosis and repair. So yeah, so it's a serious issue actually. United Health Group.
So, Nathaniel, I'm just going to pick your brain on this. What do you think they could have done to, not be reactive, but to have been proactive before this even happened?
Yeah, they should have had a system in place. They should have had a system in place, like a strong backup. We had a team that would be able to to detect and protect, even though you cannot protect our system 100%, but the least thing that will happen, maybe like some payment services or what have you, you have to always check. And so they should have put their house in order before this. And they should have had a honeypot, like the friend there mentioned. Should have had that. This is a very big hospital. Should have had a honeypot to direct just in case. But probably they left it like targeted back then, you know, they left it like, yeah, we got it under control. And it's never under control. It's never under control. This is 24/7 stuff. You should always be checking.
Yeah. And like we were talking about incident response, right? This moves beyond incident response even. So from incident response, I think their business continuity and their disaster recovery program is also kind of not where it needs to be.
It was not in place because this is like moving from point A to point B, like you're starting all over. So they already got your data in their hand and you're still negotiating. So even if you change, you don't even have a redundancy plan in place.
Yes.
Maybe after you change, you also just transfer. And what you keep opening new point. They just be giving us more new jobs, more new overtime. That's all they be doing. So you need to bring a team that can contain this. Yeah. The whole team can't handle it, to be frank, because it will handle it only just fine.
Yeah, thank you about that.
You're welcome. And I'm new on your platform, so pretty soon I'll be giving you a call for the PCR session.
Okay, Natalia. Thank you. Ransford, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I just wanted to add that another way to protect against the ransomware would have been to ensure that they have good anti-malware systems and regularly updating that as well. It would have helped.
Yes, very well. Thank you. So I'm not sure the type of how they were able to get onto the network and, you know, hit them with ransomware, probably through most likely some social engineering form of phishing email that was sent out and somebody just clicked on it or something on those lines, right? Those are the easiest way attackers are able to get onto your network. Now, like Nathaniel was talking about attacks or within the cyberspace, right? You can't control the activities of attackers or threat actors outside your organization. What you can control is what you do within your organization, right? Like I always say, if you're walking down the street, you can't control the actions of other people who are walking beside you. So what are the chances that somebody is going to jump and hit you on the back of your head? Right? You can't control that. But what you can control is you don't make yourself a target. So you don't put the target behind you and say, hey, hit me at the back of my head, right? So you control your actions. So within the company, or when it comes to risks and when it comes to attacks and, you know, cyber attacks and the rest, incidents, when it comes to incidents, you know, incidents are inevitable. Every company is just a matter of when that you are going to get attacked. You are going to get hit with some type of ransomware or some shape or form of an incident, right? So there is nothing like zero risks. There's always going to be some level of risks. So that is why companies, it is very important for them to invest in a good incident response program, not one that you are pretending is there just to get away with some audits and the rest, but really, you know, viable incident response program with a good incident response team in place, right? So for the internship, GRC internship that we are going to roll out, and the ones that we've been doing so far, incident response is one of the projects that we work on, right? And I can tell you for everybody who's participated in that, if we allow them to share the experience conducting tabletop exercises and going through different scenarios and similar ones like ransomware, how to react, everybody's role, they'll be able to talk to you about this all day, right? So on the job, now, if this was supposed to happen or if they were part of the cybersecurity team, they would have taken more steps into ensuring that if their incident response program for the company was weak, they would have, you know, revamped it to be more structured and also to be more effective, right? So with that, we move to AD. and we'll pick the rest of the hands that are up, and then we'll move on. So Eddie, please go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Eddie. So I wanted to add to the ransomware attack. So I think another way to protect from ransomware is using the network segregation and segmentation, whereby some certain type of the information will be segmented to a different area with more defense in depth to protect those information, whereby like the attacker, they don't really know the different type of information that you are protecting. So they just want to get whatever they get. So if you have them segmented and segregated, that will help too. That's just my contribution.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And next we will go to Ellen. Please go ahead.
I mean, everything was said. Yeah, incident was a big one. I just want to add, as employee awareness training is not in place, and then continuous monitoring. Those two is a big one. If employees is aware what to do, and then I mean we can protect this ransomware. So I just want to add that one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ellen. Johnson, please go ahead.
Yeah, so nobody is really addressing the real elephant in the room, and that's the fact that if you Google where most internet attacks happen, 90% of all internet attacks happen through the API. And anybody who knows anything about application programming interfaces will tell you that when web applications are developed, security is an afterthought. Security, it does not go into the developmental process because developers are not security people. People who develop web applications are not security-minded people. So security is always an afterthought. So what we have to do, incident response is wonderful, but what becomes before incident response and what will lessen the need for that is if developers and security work together to design the application. You cannot design a product and then say, oh, how can we protect it? The protection has to be built into the API. It has to be built into the web application. And until we bring security and developers together, we will continue to talk in circles about problems that we could probably prevent if we bring these two sides together. It can't be an afterthought. Security has to be built into the API. It has to be built into the web application. It has to be there from the start, not later. That's
right on the
the
money.
solution.
Yeah, right on the money, Johnson. And so to add to Johnson's, right, he's like exactly right on the money. Mostly when it comes to developers, they are not security people, right? So that is why for your software development lifecycle, there always have to be a cybersecurity person or a security person on there who is advocating for security, right? And then also whenever so let's say Johnson and Dr. Edu we are thinking about an application. As part of our initial thought process and the design, security has to be part of it, right? So if we don't know, we have to bring somebody on who is a security person, because not even just for only applications, even for all the smart things that we have, smart, watch, smart everything, our Internet of Things, they are all designed with not security in mind, right? So always security is kind of an afterthought, like Johnson is saying. And if we have such, after the design is where we are trying to see where we're going to fit security in there, then we are always going to run into problems and issues. Thank you, Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Jackie, please go ahead.
Okay, my 2 cents was in the incident response plan, there should be a proper disaster recovery plan and a business continuity plan, and using tools such as Vim that allows you to do backup and replication, so that you can recover and continue with business with ease after attack. So I think not just backups, but also just doing replication so that you can just quickly continue with business after your recovery. And in my opinion is that there will always be a 0 day where attackers look at things that you never thought they will be vulnerable to be attacked or be exploited. So a 0 day is always going to be there no matter what. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Brian, please go ahead and we will wrap it up and move forward.
Real quick, to point to Johnson's, to say what on Johnson's point, if it could all be so simple, if security and the application developers could work together, it would be amazing. But the entrepreneur's mind is, I'm only going to spend this much money to hurry up and launch this product so I can make some money. I'm not caring about if it's really that secure or not, because I don't want to spend the extra money to make it secure. So that's what most of these Kickstarts will do, is develop the product to hurry up and make some money. And then later they say, okay, now to make some money, then I put the safeguards in place, which is so backwards, because it's just like when you build a house and you know you're going to be in an area where there's going to be crime. You want to have security cameras and go along with your house once it gets built. And even sometimes when you have the house being built, you put security cameras out there so they don't come and steal your lumber, come steal all your things that you pay for. So yeah, just wanted to touch on Johnson's point that I wish it was a reality that we could work that way, but we have to get into the entrepreneur's mind that you have to have security measures in place first as well.
Great point, Brian. Great point. So you and Johnson, really great points. So, I mean, and for everybody on here, I think we all can learn something from this because like Brian is saying, mostly I wouldn't also fault kind of the entrepreneurs that much because they don't know what they don't know, like I always say, right? But if they will outsource, most of the things that they do in terms of if you have to do any form of web development or software, hardware, at least now everybody should be more conscious when it comes to security, right? So bring the right people on board and have them, take over and do this rather than trying to take shortcuts and bringing your product to the market and then security will be an afterthought. Then you find yourself in situations like this where you have to cough up money that you will normally wouldn't have or you wouldn't, like to spend, right? So if this company, if they spent a little bit more on security, I don't think they'll be in the space that they are in. And not just the spending of it, but if they took it more seriously and the people, I mean, the more people they had on board and the more talent they were bringing in, maybe probably their, awareness, education, and, backup, and all these other aspects of security would have been a bit, up there. And even for the incident response, business continuity, and disaster recovery, all of that would have been more robust. So this wouldn't have dragged on and on and on, right? And it's really funny is these big companies that will experience this and like it looks like you might be wondering what were they thinking or why haven't they done this or why haven't they done that? But normally they don't take security as that serious. They make it look like they are, but 9 out of 10 mostly they are not. Johnson, please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah, Doc, one thing that most companies tend to forget about how to manage their TPRM program, like the vendors that they normally work with. So they tend to have controls in place in their internal environment, forgetting about the vendors or the third party that they do business with. So if they don't have very good TPRM program, meaning that they can also, the attackers can penetrate into their system through their third party. So my takeaway is that companies should also make sure that they have very good TPRM program in place so that even if their vendors, they will assess their vendors very well to assess their controls before they even onboard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And great point also. Great point, Johnson. So your third-party risk management program also plays a key role because attackers can go through your third parties to get onto your network as well. Yes. And with that, we are going to jump into our Cybersecurity GRC internship, the launch of our Cybersecurity GRC and internship. So we are going to start with the timelines for the rest of the year, right? So our next internship, Cybersecurity GRC internship, is going to be starting on the 16th to May 18th. So it's a 2 months program, and with we will start with our first zero week that we do onboarding, and then the following week is when we start jumping into projects, right? So graduation for this cohort, March cohort, is set for May 18th, and then after May 18th, we have another one starting May 25th to July 27th, and that also graduation is on July 27th, right? And we have 2 more for the year, and we are going to start another one August to October 5th, and graduation is on October 5th, 2 days before, no, 2 days to Dr. Edu's birthday. Then October 12th to December 14th is the next cohort. And with that, these timelines have been posted on the internship website on our site, like on the internship page on our website, Rhythmics Academy, so you can get on there. And please, as we are moving forward, we are almost 130 tonight. So kindly put your location in the chat, and we are going to, give your location some shout out. And then also we are using that for our planning purposes for our in-person live event, in-person event that we are going to be doing in the next very near future. We are looking somewhere before or just right at the edge of summer. So please put your locations in there. That way, we will be able to choose appropriately and see which areas are going to be kind of a central point for almost everybody, and we can all meet. So what are past interns saying about this, the internship program workshop that we host? Now, I'll give a background into how the internship/workshop program came to be in existence. And then also, we have a lot of past students on here who have gone through the program, who are working currently on the job. We also give them the chance to share. Mostly what I want to know about this is, how is their internship that you went through helping you on the job, right? And even for students who are completed and have not started working yet, how did it make you grow as a security professional, right? We are going to give that opportunity for folks on here who've gone through the program to share their insights, and also from our past interns who just graduated last week. But this whole program came about because in the security space, there's a lot of training out there you are going to go through. They will show you or teach you stuff, right? So there's always, but then you don't really get to see firsthand, or you don't really get to experience how work is done in the security space, or you don't get to work on any projects, right? So if you take a security plus training, or you take an RMF course with somebody, or a PCI with, some of these schools, they are going to teach you the theory side of things, right? This is this, that is that. These are the concepts, and then that's it. Now, how do you really put it in practice and work for an actual company, working on projects for them, to really have that hands-on experience and for things to really, make sense? Because I'm a big believer of if you've done it, it's very easy for you to talk about it. And then also, if you have to do it again or have to do something similar on those lines, it's easier for you to execute and for you to be able to, do it, right? Mostly in the security space, the problem that I found to be a really huge problem is for folks who are breaking into the cybersecurity industry, and even for those who are already in the industry, you can be in the industry and be stuck doing one or two things, right? So it's the same repetition that you are doing over and over and over again. After 5, 6 years, 7 years, if you want to, if you like, you are moving from that, job to a different job, now it becomes a bit harder if you are not somebody who is constantly improving yourself, because there are some projects you've not had opportunity to work on, and there you are with 6, 7 years of experience in the security space, and you can't speak to certain projects, right? So we try to bridge the gap between the knowledge, the theory, the concept side, and also the actual doing side. So the skills and ability side, there's always a gap, and that is what this program seeks to close. Now, our focus is on the blue side of the house, and we are focusing specifically on GRC, right? So we go a little bit beyond GRC, but our main focus is on GRC. And, some people will say, yeah, GRC is the non-technical part, but in security, to a certain point, if you are looking at technical to be coding and programming, you are not going to do that here, right? But, I'll say, like I say, always everything within the security space is technical. Concepts, they are technical because they are not, you can't just randomly ask somebody on the street, hey, what is social engineering? And they are going to know as it pertains to cybersecurity. So even knowing those concepts and those, definitions and those fundamental information, all those we will classify as technical. But most people, when they say technical, they are referring to coding and all that. Now, you don't do that necessarily under the GRC space, right? So that is the idea and the concept behind why we've had this program. And we've run this program for almost 3 years now, right? So bridging that gap between the knowledge and the skills. And there has not been a single student who's gone through, or a single intern who's gone through this internship and has gotten a job and has come around and said, I can't do the job. None, right? And even before you even get a job, you have that confidence and you know that you can do it. During interviews, you are speaking to something you've done, not something you just know in terms of concepts and theories, right? So with that, I know there is a lot of folks on here who've gone through the program. So probably we pick just 5. If you've gone through the cybersecurity internship with us, and if you've completed, you are either working or not working, you can probably chime in and what did you learn from it? How well did it help you? And then also one key aspect of this is we are not just going to show you how to do your job as a cybersecurity professional in terms of the technicality of it. But then in security, we are always looking at 2 sets of skills, your technical skills and your soft skills. This is also a very good environment for you to improve on your soft skills because you are going to be working in a team and you are going to be working on different projects together as a team. So, communication, your presentation skills, and you are going to also be doing some, presentations in there also as well. So presentation, attention to detail, research skills, very key. Mostly for the program, we do not spoon feed you. We show you the way, we show you the right way. And in security, sometimes there is not just one way, right? Just like the example that, right now, how are we able to defend against ransomware? There are so many different aspects and twists to this, right? So we show you the right way and we give you that room for you to, grow and come up with solutions and come up with solutions, to some of these problems and projects that we are going to be working on, right? So our goal is to make you critical thinkers, critical research, give you that critical research skills that is also needed in security, because in security, we can be working in security for years, and there's always going to be there's always going to be an incident, there's always going to be an issue that nobody on the team has ever encountered before, right? Just like this incident, this ransomware attack that we are talking about, you can work in security for 10 years and not experience a real ransomware attack or a real incident whereby your company is under an attack, whether DDoS attack or whatever type of attack, right? So if, you have the chance of working in a space that gives you that opportunity for you to grow, for you to be able to tackle and research into things, you are being prepared for, situations like this, because there's always going to be something that is new to everybody, regardless of how many years you've been working, whether I'm new or you've been a grandpa in cybersecurity. If I have good researching skills than older folks in the industry, problems that we are going to encounter that is new, I'm going to be up, with better solutions than them, right? So we try to instill that also in you. So for this, we are looking at your soft skills, polishing you up on your soft skills and on your technical skills as well, right? So I'll just give the floor to maybe 5 folks who've been through their internship program, and then we move into what the new GRC Cybersecurity Internship program is going to cover, right? So maybe 5 on here. I think there are still current interns are also on here. They can also give an insight into what they are currently working on and how it's going. Mostly they'll start off with, a lot of, I can't find my way. And then almost a month later, they have all that confidence and they are working on projects like pros that they are, right? So I'm going to leave the floor for at least maybe 5 interns who've been in and are currently working or who have just completed, to just share their insights into this program. So I know, I think Brian, if Brian is still on here, Brian went through some last year. Was it last year? So Brian, I'm just going to pick on Brian. So Brian can give his take on how this is helping him on the job, right? And his experience going through the program, and what he has, how it made him grow as a security professional. So please go ahead, Brian. You are unmuted, but still, if you are speaking, we are unable to hear.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. It was not last year, but the year before that.
Oh, okay.
I took the cybersecurity intern hands-on workshop, and that taught me a lot. Learning about the controls, learning about the frameworks, learning about risk management. From there, I went into data privacy, and I got a job through data privacy, and all that had helped, like with the frameworks, with data loss prevention, protecting data, all of the security controls that need to be put in place, and things like that. Um, I don't necessarily do a lot of the technical stuff. Mine is more of regulatory laws and regulations and things like that. But all of that helped uh, to prepare me to do what I do today. So with that, the hands-on is what worked so much in all of our favor, because you could be taught something just like in school, but if you don't put your hands to it, and if you don't get a chance to actually do the work, all the knowledge in the world is not going to really prepare you for what this program is, what Dr. Do has put together. But because he has put together not just knowledge, but also hands on and working in groups, you get a chance to think about it, to work with people, and to work on the projects. And this prepares you for the cybersecurity job that you want out there. So I'll say that.
Thank you, Brian. Anyone else from either last year, last 2 years, last 3 years, that want to chime in? That was Brian, was a while ago. Okay, I was thinking last year. Okay.
So
Yes, go ahead, Kingsley.
yeah, so I think I was in the first internship class, and
okay.
Prior to coming into that class, I'd never had a hands-on experience with cybersecurity. I've done all kinds of theories, but I've never done anything. But when I had my interview that I got my job, everything that Dr. Adu was teaching the internship class started playing back to me. You know, how we met, did our controls and all of that. And if they did everything from scratch, it started coming back to me. So now I'm able to fit into the team. I'm able to speak to the language of cybersecurity. I'm not just sitting there in meetings shaking my head. I could speak to it because I had been in that internship class, had a hands-on experience. So when I got my first job, it wasn't like I was just coming into the field. It's almost like I've been there for a while. Some people actually ask me at work, well, how long have you been doing this? I know, yeah, I've been there for 5 years. It was my first job. But I could speak to that because the internship laid a foundation for me, showed me how to work in a real life situation.
Thank you, Kinsley.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think there's still like a whole bunch of them on here. So for current interns, we are meeting tomorrow. I'm probably gonna pick one or two if they can share some insight on what they are doing now. But still, for the old ones, there are a lot of them on here. So if you also will unmute yourself and let us know what your experience has been so far during the internship and after the internship, what is going on.
Hello, Dr. Edu.
Yes, go ahead.
Again,
go ahead,
it is
Lumen.
Lumen speaking.
Yeah, Lumen.
A long time no talk.
Yeah.
So I just want to, speak just like everyone else. I was on the last internship also. I will not say I'll say last year, maybe before last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was great, to be honest. Like during audit, like even right now we are doing our second assessment. Basically, everything that Dr. Edu teaches us straightforward. Like talking about third party, ASV scan, vulnerability scan, a risk assessment, everything that you're gonna learn on internship is there straightforward, assessing, questioning system owners, what question to ask, I mean, straightforward. So now I'll say during audits, it's not hard, straightforward, you don't, sorry, you don't feel like you are new or you are like a novice, you have knowledge, you have experience, you have like something that is backing you up, you have document where you can go to and refer to, so I'll say that.
All right, Lumen. So I think Lumen was also at 2022, thereabout. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yes. No, I think 2021, 2022.
2021, okay, 2020. All right. All right, thank you, Lumen. And any current interns? Oh, go ahead, Susanna.
Okay. When I started this program, I actually spoke no cybersecurity language at all, none. But now, even I understand the material, I can contribute in class. I realize that I've moved, I've grown a whole lot. My thinking, the way I analyze things is different. And even my general outlook on life is more analytical, more deep thinking. You think about it, you don't just say anything. You need to know what you're saying. And that's the perception that has stuck to me since I started the program. So thank you, Dr. Edu.
All right, thank you, Susanna. And I think Ransford, you had your hand up.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak again. I can say we are just the fresh out of the program. We just graduated last Saturday. It was a very exciting, and in fact, I'm still building my confidence because, oh no, let me not say I build my confidence. I can feel the confidence I already gathered. Like each time I'm trying to, although I haven't gotten a job yet, but I'm very confident that it's not going to be so long because there's the wealth of knowledge we got from the internship can be compared to none. Like for real, each time I'm trying to look for, maybe I'm looking like searching for jobs, looking at the job description, I'll just be like, yeah, we did this, I know this, I can speak to this, I mean, it's just, so there's this confidence. I'm not worried, I'm not scared of maybe approaching or going for an interview because I feel like I'm not going to fool myself because of what we got from the internship. So if it's just the confidence alone, it is awesome. It is awesome. So that's just what I wanted to add up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Jamal, please go ahead and we will move forward.
Yes, I haven't gone into the industry just yet, but I have some background experience, and I'm kind of going to piggyback on what he said. I'm not concerned about not being able to do this job at all. The way Dr. Du delivers the material is simplified, it's straight to the point. He's able to break it down to the simplest of terms. And if you keep asking him, you'll get to where you need to be. And I think that's one of the greatest assets, and helps to give you the confidence to move forward. I'm not concerned about anything that's going to be thrown my way because you can go back to the material. And if you can't find any material, you don't understand it, he's just a phone call or text away, him, David. You got all the backing you need. And I want to thank you for putting together such a great program.
Thank you, Jamal. So we are going to give the floor to everybody else to also, give their input. But we are going to move forward, right? These are from our past interns. Some of the comments that they put in there. So from Isosa, from Divine, there is a whole list of them, right? So for some of these, we are just going to skip and go to. So we will have all these in the video, so you probably will be able to take your time and take a look at it. And we also have like the actual graduation video to play back, right? So how does it work for folks who've gone through this program previously? Not really much change in terms of the structure. We are still going to have our groups and our teams. So you are going to be divided into groups and teams. The groups will be assigned to companies, the sister companies that we normally work with. And the teams will be, so every group will have two teams, Team A and Team B, and the teams will work on the projects together, right? And the groups will have their group leads. So main group lead, assistant group lead, and the teams will have team leads and assistant team leads. If you are in a team or if you are in a leadership spot, that also you are going to learn, your cybersecurity leadership, operational and managerial skill sets will also be developed in that space also as well. Working in a virtual, and this whole program is conducted virtually. It's conducted remotely, right? So working in a remote team is more difficult than working in person as a team, right? You send people emails and they pretend they didn't see it. Send them a test, they pretend they didn't see it, right? Trying to get everybody on board. If you are speaking to somebody and you can't see their face, you don't see whether you are getting to them or so there's a lot of dynamics in this space. But if you're able to manage a team, you're able to work together as a team. There's nowhere you cannot work in the cyberspace, right? So teams, we have groups broken down into teams, and they work on the projects together. And the teams are assigned to the companies that you are going to work in for. Now, for the projects you are going to be working on, we have 10 major projects that you are going to be working on. We'll be looking at that here shortly. And we've restructured the projects, mostly for the old interns. When you start, we just hit the ground running with an audit, but we are restructuring that, right? And it is not going to be that way. We are going to start a bit slower and then move forward into it. Now, interns, so Arithmetic picks the projects you are going to work on, right? This is not your typical internship where the company decides whether they have something for you or not. We handpick all the projects. So reason why we do that is to give you that exposure to all the different projects within the cybersecurity space, right? Especially on the blue side, on the GRC side, right? So we are going to go through that list of projects that you are going to working on here shortly. So who is eligible for this? So all our cybersecurity entry-level students, you have a pass into the new GRC internship. Now, for cybersecurity professionals or aspiring cybersecurity professionals, if you've taken Security Plus, you've taken some course elsewhere, but you don't have that, hands-on feel, you don't have that confidence that you can do the job, right? Most folks, when they reach out and they are like, yeah, I've done this course, I've done that course, I just need a job. My question is, truly deep down in your heart, if you are given a job today, would you be able to do it? Right? Let's say they don't interview you, they like you, they just give you the job. Do you genuinely think you can do it? Right? That is what you have to ask yourself. Not looking for the job is not the problem. If you have that confidence that you can do the job, because eventually you are going to get a job. So are you going to get a job and get fired in the next 3 months because you don't know what you're doing? Or you're going to get a job and keep it, right? So before you even get fired, there is a lot of headaches and a lot of, high blood pressure that you're going to, bring on yourself, right? So the main goal of this is, what are you going to do on the job? And for us, for if you've done some security training and you need guidance, you need real hands, real world cybersecurity projects to work on, then you're also eligible for this, right? So if you're already working in the industry and you need more exposure to different projects, you're also invited. So for every cohort, we have at least 4 or 5 security professionals who are currently on the job, and they will come and polish up their skill sets on different aspects or on different projects, right? So that is the eligibility, right? Aside that, if you are totally new to security, and you want to jump into the cybersecurity space, we don't encourage you to just jump into the internship, because that is the doing part, portion of it, right? You have to first go through the knowledge piece. So we encourage you to go through the cybersecurity entry-level course instead of jumping into the internship if you're totally new, right? So the cybersecurity entry-level comes with the internship. So go through the concepts, theories aspect, and then we will jump into the doing, right? So with the new curriculum that we are going to look at right now, it is we work on actionable projects. So projects that you are going to actually work on. So like incident response, tabletop exercises, like what we were discussing in the cyber news, audits, third-party risk management, like Johnson was speaking to. So all of that you are going to be working on and have that exposure and first-hand experience on that aspect. So this curriculum, the goal overall, to summarize it, is to give you that confidence and to not to worry about how you are going to do your job when you do get that opportunity, right? And to expose you to as many projects as possible, right? Out of which you'll be able to function in all different areas of the blue side of the house when it comes to security, and more specifically, almost anything in GRC, right? So for week 0, when we start off this program, the first week is always week 0, and the first week introduction into the different companies, and also introducing yourselves as groups and members, introducing the members of the groups and leadership and all that, and then also ID cards. We have digital ID cards that we issue to interns. All of that is going to be done week 0, together with the platforms that we are going to be using. We use Slack, we use WhatsApp, we use Google Classroom, and now we are going to add more platforms to it. So that yet to be determined, but we don't want to oversaturate it. That way, you are able to still have that work experience. And reason why we use, most especially Slack, most companies use Slack. So if you are not, familiar with using Slack, this is going to be a good opportunity to familiarize yourself with it as a communication tool within the cyberspace, right? And then also what we are trying to bring on there is also ticketing systems, right? Like Jira and the rest. At least we are going to use one of those. That way you have that exposure also with ticketing system. And the GRC space is big. And then also we are trying to look into a GRC tool that is a community version that everybody can use, that you don't have to pay anything additional to use also as well. So week one, we are going to jump into policies. So governance, policies, and frameworks. We are going to do policy review, make policies, and expose you to Arithmetic policy making tool that we have. So we have Arithmetic GRC is a website that is used to make policies, or is an application used to make policies. So you can visit that also as well, and we expose the students to that also as well. So mostly from our previous interns, you know that week one, we will start straight with initial assessment of your organizational security posture. We are switching that up. We are starting with governance, right? And we are looking at policies and frameworks. Now, week two, we are going to be jumping into risks. Risk assessment. So risk management, looking specifically at risk assessment, identifying risks using both quantitative and qualitative approaches as well. And then you are going to be introduced to our risk assessment tool that we are going to be using, which always is the CIS RAM. And then week three, we will jump into the compliance side. So now we are looking at more legal and regulatory requirements. So we are going to expose you to almost all the frameworks that are out there. Those are just going to be introductory or introduction to those frameworks. And then the frameworks that we specifically use for our audits, CIS, NIST Cybersecurity Framework, and ISO 27701, right? But we will expose you to all the other frameworks that are out there, legal and regulatory frameworks within the compliance space. That way, at least you have a very good understanding of the ones that we are going to use. You are going to actually use them. And then the ones that we are going to mention and give you the introduction to, you know they are there and you have an idea on about how to use it, right? And then for week four, we will look at security architecture and controls, right? So what are some of the security controls effectiveness? How do we evaluate the effectiveness of security controls that we have within our organization? So that is where we will move into doing some gap analysis. And then also we will look at security controls that are in place already within the organization through the gap analysis that we are going to make, and how to come up with some remediation measures on how to help safeguard the security posture of our organization. And then also baselining will all fall under week four, right? Then with that, we move into week five, incident response and management. So with what the discussion that we were having, if this company had a very robust incident response program in place and a good incident response or a robust incident response team in place, they would have been able to react a bit faster to this incident, right? Now, what constitutes a good incident response program? What constitutes a good incident response team, right? What are tabletop exercises? How do you conduct them? How often should we conduct them, right? So you are going to have that first-hand exposure to this, actually doing it together with your team. And you have different roles, and we will talk through during incidents, tabletop exercises for incident response. And week six, so for our previous interns, it has always been on the chopping board, but we never got to it. Business continuity and disaster recovery planning. So that you transition easily from incident response into business continuity and disaster recovery planning, right? So that is also a new addition to our curriculum that we are going to be working on projects within this side as well. And we will move into third-party risk management, a very interesting aspect of cybersecurity. Johnson spoke about this. So for organizations that we work with, we have to make sure they are serious when it comes to security, and they are meeting all the regulatory compliance requirements before we allow our company to, go into business with it. So we are going to expose you to third-party risk management, and we are going to be doing analysis on companies that the companies you are working for wants to work with, right? So the documentations that they have, we are going to analyze different types of documentation, name it, all sorts of reports, compliance reports, and the rest, policies, right? So the first time you'll be seeing maybe a ROC from PCI or a report from like a SOC 2 report wouldn't be on the job where you don't know what you are looking at. But all of that, you are going to have that exposure here as well. So all the documentations you need and you are going to see on the job for third-party risk management and the steps of conducting a third-party risk management, you are going to know offhand because you're actually going to do it. Right? And then week 8, we will do our audits way back now. It's not going to be the starting point of our journey. So we will do a final audit. So cybersecurity audit and assurance. And so this audit is going to be an internal audit conducted on everything that the company has. And based on that, we are going to come up with some gaps that we are going to identify. And then we are going to come up with remediation. And we do a final presentation on and finalize all the projects that we did, right? So the projects, mostly you work on the project. We will QA, QC the project. If it's good, we move on to another project, right? So that is how we have it done. Now we are running this for 8 weeks, but we are working on 10 projects because some of the projects, 2 of them will overlap into each other, or they are kind of 2 in 1, right? So that is how we get the 10 projects in. So this is our new curriculum. So for our old interns, you can see that there are some changes, slight changes here, and it's going to make it more fun, right? So for the companies that you're going to be working for during this internship, we have 2 sister companies. For really old interns, from 2020, 2021, we have 3 companies, right? Now we are probably still going to have 3 moving forward. But as of now, we're still working with these 2 sister companies. So we have Diaspora Care and ADDI, right? So right from here, we are going to look at the websites of these companies, and you can learn more about them if you want to jump into their internship. So the projects we are going to work on, they are projects for ADDI and Diaspora Care, right? And these projects, they do use them. Like example, the policies review and the ones that we are going to make, they are things that they use. The ADDI, for the Diaspora Care, when they are going for their audits, those are the like products from the interns is what they rely on to pass their audits and others, right? So for Diaspora Care, we are going to look at like a short intro video from the CEO and everybody else who is a player in Diaspora Care when we go to their website. And then for ADDI, ADDI is a non-profit. So Diaspora Care is for-profit company. Is within the health space. They help us for folks in the diaspora who have family on the continent of Africa and other places to take care of your family's health issues without necessarily sending money for them to get those services. You pay and they get those services without any money transactions on their part, right? And then for ADDI is a non-profit, right? That was formed by Dr. Arikana, the former UN, the former AU ambassador to US. She's a medical doctor I think she's in the Virginia, Maryland area, and she's a very strong activist when it comes to anything Black, African, that space. So she owns this institute, and that's why they've been doing some good things in the public space, in the diaspora, and also on the continent of Africa. So it's a nonprofit that we also work for. So this is one of the companies that you are going to be working for as well, right? So how do you enroll in the program? Like I said, for entry-level students, they automatically get enrolled. Once they're done with the first phase of the program, they will move into the internship. And for non-entry level students, it's a paid workshop, internship/workshop, right? So now we are going to look at the companies that we are going to be working for, and then we move on. Now, I'm not sure if Jamal, your hand is up. Is it from previous or are you just from now?
Yes, it must be from previous. I have you on the phone and on the laptop because I'm at work right now, so it must be from before. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Let me see.
So you're good. Okay, so we are going to take a look at these companies, and everybody can also what they have in terms of on their website. All the information that you need to know about these companies are on their website. So we'll first look at Diaspora Care, right? So Diaspora Care, this is their website. And they have their, if you go to About Us, it tells you what they're about and what they do and the locations that they are in within the African continent and then also within the States. So where they are and what they do, everything is on here. And for our interns, all the time we encourage them, get to know more about your company. That will help you to be able to understand what they have going on. Okay, so this is the leadership for ADDI, and I'm not sure if because we didn't share sound. Can everybody hear the sound?
No, is it Diaspora Care or Diaspora?
Yeah, I can hear you though.
Oh, you can hear?
No, we can't hear the sound. I cannot hear the sound.
Okay. My bad.
Oh, that's
when you share on Zoom and you don't allow share sound, that is what happens.
But is it Diaspora Care or Diaspora?
And went to study in Canada. So came to the US
so this is the
do
CEO,
some postdoctoral research.
And then
then
the others
joined
speak,
Cargill.
but we'll just
here
let the
in
CEO
Minnesota.
speak a little bit, and then we're just gonna move on to
and then I went to children's hospitals and clinics of Minnesota as Vice President of Strategy, Business Development, and Innovation.
My name is Mike Essien. I'm originally from Nigeria. I'm a chemical engineer, lawyer, now I'm practicing intellectual property attorney.
My name is Edwin Bogonko. I am originally from Kenya. Made my way to the big city of Nairobi, where I went to medical school. And after graduating, started practicing for a few years before migrating to the United States.
Diaspora Care, just as the name connotes, is a diaspora, those of us in diaspora caring for our people in our home country.
The challenges are many. How do you ensure that, despite the distance, your loved ones are well taken care of?
Imagine if you think you have a very sick parent and you've sent $1,000 for their care.
But then, that money, she repurposes it. She uses it to buy gifts or wedding gifts. And at the end, she doesn't purchase her medication.
Diaspora Care as a platform gives you a chance to control from the beginning where your dollar goes and how you invest in the healthcare of your loved ones.
I'm Sean O'Neill, Chief Technology Officer of Diaspora Care. So the Diaspora Care solution is really easy to use. It's a simple mobile app, and that mobile app, let's think about it from the supporter perspective. So the supporter is the person living in the United States or Europe or even in a neighboring country or city, sending money back home to a beneficiary. So the supporter downloads the app, they connect it up with their credit card, and then set the limits around that card and how and when it can be used. From a pharmacist perspective, it's even easier. The pharmacist downloads the app, connects it up to their bank account so that they can get paid, and then when someone comes into their pharmacy that says, hey, I'm a beneficiary that is on the Diaspora Care app, the pharmacist just looks them up right there. There'll be a security pin where that person tells the security pin to the pharmacist who types it in, validates who they are, and then puts the medications in that person wants to purchase.
Most people that before now would get onto the service would use one of these money transfer organizations. They're not anywhere as efficient because what we've done is go to the service provider in the location or at the location of need, a pharmacy at need that is delivering the service to my parents, or a hospital that will provide treatment for my brother, for my uncle, for my aunt.
So that's how we redefine quality, right, at a really affordable price. But the other challenge that we were facing was availability of medicine. Medicine is not always available in pharmacy. In fact, sometimes, 60% of the time you can find a medicine in a given pharmacy. We came across Sean, and we knew that Sean had the piece of the supply side. How do you empower a typical sub-Saharan African pharmacist?
We had to come up with a solution for these pharmacies. And the solution we have, we call it pharmacy in a box. It's got everything you need to run your own pharmacy. It's got an accounting system. It's got your inventory. It allows you to invoice to insurance companies. And it has anything that a pharmacist needs to be able to get started for literally $100.
We are subsidizing the cost of that device and the software because we would like to empower pharmacists, a pharmacy in sub-Saharan Africa to function with the same efficiency as a CVS in the United States, but at a fraction of the cost.
As the Chief Medical Officer of Diaspora Care, one of the responsibilities that I have is to ensure that we have established a very clear.
All right, so I think the point is well made. We are going to look at ADDI. So this is ADDI's website. Also, if you go to our addi.org, this is the nonprofit that we are going to be working for, also working on different projects for them. So this is Dr. Arikana, the founder of Ambassador Arikana, the founder of ADDI. Also, so if you go to the website, you'll be able to find most of the things that they do in there. And this is the leadership also as well. So with that, we are going to jump off, and we're about to show some of the clips from our previous interns, and then we are going to wrap it up from from the graduation that happened last week. Just maybe 2 to 4 minutes of some of the clips from there, and then we will wrap it up for tonight. And then we will also open it up for other interns who wants to, chime in, and other folks who might be interested in this. But before we look at that video, we are going to do some shout outs to the different locations. So our live event, we're still getting the locations and using that to plan. So currently we are hovering around Boston area, the DMV area. So that is in our shortlist. Top 3, Boston, Virginia, Maryland area. They are in our top 3, right? So let's jump into, we have Nicole from Atlanta. We have, Maryland, some Maryland's in here. Texas, Brian, Texas, Chicago, Andy, Rosie, Maryland, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, Shungo, Christiana from Virginia, Pennsylvania, Nikki, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Malachi, Frank from Dallas. So Texas, there are a lot of Texas. Gabriel from Ghana, Lavette from MD, North Carolina. We have Olu from Maryland, and the list goes on. New York, we've seen some New York, Atlanta, Maryland, DMV area, Texas. It seems like Texas always kind of wins. Texas, New York, so Daniels from New York, Arizona, Texas, New Jersey. Not a lot of New Jerseys today. Okay, New Jersey, Walt, New Jersey. We have Lord from London, Canada, Michael from Canada, Shongo. Okay, so I think I remembered, I said Shongo already. Las Vegas, Arizona, Maryland, Portland, and the list goes on. Okay, Maryland, Chicago, Michael from Atlanta, and South Africa, Jackie from South Africa. Thank you. What time is it in South Africa, Jackie? Oh, if Jackie is still on here. Okay, so we've gone through like a whole chunk of it. I appreciate everybody's input. What time is it in South Africa, Jackie?
3:27.
Oh, say that again, please.
It's 12 minutes to 4.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you for joining us. I know in on the continent of Africa is early in the morning, somewhere 2 p.m. there about. All right. So we are going to look at what past interns were saying about this, and then we are going to wrap up. But any questions for the group? All right. I think we will be able to do this. So always have to share with sound. It's not going to work out. All right. So this is from
But we
our
encourage
internship
in that if you can turn your camera
last
on,
week.
that
So
that is
anybody who missed
usually
the
makes it
last
more
week,
fun. So
we're
please
just going to have
go
like
ahead and
5
speak.
minutes or 3 minutes of this, and then we'll wrap it up. Can everybody hear the sound?
Nana, it's your time.
So that was rough.
Thank you, Dr. Du. Thank you for giving us this opportunity, and I also thank you for the entire team, and also ADDI and also the diaspora team for coming together for us to have this mission accomplished. It's a good experience, and we hope that we learn a lot, and we'll be able to go out there and apply the knowledge and the skills that we've got. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Please, whoever is ready to talk, go ahead.
Sheila, I'd like to jump in again. This is Ralph again. I cannot tell you the opportunity, the joy of working with everybody, even on the other team of listening to Asosa's team. It was amazing to be around so many people in the same class. But the thing that really was most amazing to me was to be close to just such a brilliant man and Dr. Du. I work in corporate and I'm around guys and he is just, as we call, the point of the spear. And so we're real excited about that. So really glad about the opportunity I've had to be involved.
Thank you. Thank you, Ralph.
I would like to add to that. You know, I'm really grateful for this opportunity to have work-life experience coming from a different industry is invaluable to me. I really enjoyed this process. I enjoyed working with my my colleagues with Diaspora Care. You know, there was a great team. It was a great experience to see them come together and make these wonderful presentations. And then just for our group, you know, I just really love my classmates and my members. Ralph was really good to work with. Me and Ralph spent, you know, many hours late at night and into the morning working together. And even with things I may not have known, because Ralph is in corporate and in IT, he was so selfless in teaching me some of the things that was brand new to me. So my gratitude and to Ralph on being able to teach me and willing to teach me, you know, even when he had to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work. So I appreciate Ralph and all my team members, and I look forward to embarking on a new career in cybersecurity.
Thank you.
Ransford.
Go ahead, please.
Hey, Ralph. Well, first of all, I want to thank God before thanking Dr. Edu and the entire Eurythmics team for this opportunity which we had to come together to meet and network with very great-minded people. In fact, I'm still trying to find the words to express my gratitude for this very rare opportunity, which I ran with. That's why I never took any chance in. Each time we had a meeting, I had to let every other thing go to make sure I was participating. And Ralph, Aaron, in fact, the entire program was just one life-changing transformation for me, because I was able to appreciate the gifts and talents that each and everybody was bringing into the table. And most importantly, the wealth of knowledge that Dr. Edu has is something that you can't really quantify. And he's so talented in the way he presents stuff that you can't help but assimilate and build some confidence in yourself. So it's one internship too much for me. I like to always call Dr. Edu when I'm trying to refer to him to people as the general of the Eritrea Cyber Defense Army, because he's really somebody that you need to talk to appreciate his mode of lectures. I've actually tried to get some resources up in the internet and a lot, but guess what? The stuff in arithmetic is real. Like, it's something you can't really quantify the knowledge base. So I'm really grateful for the team members, everybody who worked together, even Diaspora Care. Shout out to Esosa for always having our back if we needed her at some point, even if we were in separate groups. But there was this collaboration, and it was just, the energy was really nice. I can't help but keep in touch with you guys, and I wish all of us the very best. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. So with that, I think like the video itself, like the full video is there on our YouTube channel for everybody to take a look at, right? But that was just to give you some insight into what I want to highlight most about this is the family that is created, right, within the groups. Moving forward, people, they make that bond, and for your professional life in the security space, you are going to have brothers and sisters that you can always fall back and rely on, right, moving forward. So I encourage everybody, if you are looking to get into the cyberspace and you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the skills, you don't have the hands-on, that will help you to be able to confidently execute and perform your duties. Jump onto their internship program, and you are not going to regret it, right? Uche, please go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Du. Maybe I missed this. What is the cost for the program?
For the internship is $3,000 for the whole entire program, right?
Okay.
And the link to the registration page will be posted in here shortly, so you'll be able to have go to the website and take a look at it.
And then for the PCI DSS expert, will this program now be part of the updated GRC?
No, so like the GRC, the updated GRC internship is a standalone program that goes hand in hand with the entry-level course. The PCI GRC internship, the training and internship, they are in their world of their own, right?
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you.
Yes, you're welcome. Shongo, please go ahead.
Good evening, Dr. Du, and everyone who's been at the cyber chat this evening. Dr. Du, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for us here, us alumni at Arithmetic Academy, those of us in your cybersecurity internship, and I am in your PCIDS internship. And I just want to remind you, you can please allot me 2 minutes of your time after the cybersecurity chat. That would be great. Thank you so much.
Okay, okay, Shongo. Yes, we will talk offline after this, right? And so we are wrapping up with for the new GRC internship starting on the 16th. That's going to be our week 0. For our new PCI is starting a week after that. So our new PCI is starting tentatively on the 19th. Is when our new PCI class is starting. So information about that will also be pushed out as well. And if you are looking to get into the cyberspace with zero background, zero experience, please look into our cybersecurity entry-level course, and we will help you, move you through the different stages, and for you to become a full-blown cybersecurity professional, right? So we will look at some of the questions in the chat. Ahmed, I'm already enrolled. I was asked for time out for the, okay. So Ahmed, if you you are already in it and you are looking to get into the internship, we can talk offline. So for all the cybersecurity entry-level students, if you are 80 to 90%, done with the first portion of the training, you are qualified to get into the internship, right? So, but if you just started off, please go through and finish first before we move you into the internship. So we are wrapping up for tonight. I appreciate everybody's time. Great discussion on the cyber news, right? It's always a pleasure, learning from everybody in the family and, learning from us, developing as security professionals and learning. I'm always going to keep stressing on learning because you can never stop learning. In this space, if you stop learning, your skill sets and your knowledge base is going to shrink. And in this space, the more you know, the more you earn, right? So I encourage everybody to continuously try to improve upon the skills and knowledge that you have now, whether you are working in the industry or not. So we are wrapping up for tonight. I appreciate everybody's time. Kindly look into or share, spread the word if you have any friends, families who are interested in gaining real-world cybersecurity hands-on training in terms of actually doing projects. They should get onto the Arithmes, the new GRC internship program, and they are going to love it. It's a lot of work though, but just to let you know, it's a lot of work and a lot of late nights, but it's totally worth it because that is going to be your foundation in the security space for life. We are wrapping up. If there are no questions for the groups, we are going to wrap up and we will meet next week again for another edition of Cyber Chat. Have a great, Uche, please go ahead. Uche has—
Yes, one more question, Dr. Edu. For the internship, are the projects marked or graded by you, once we complete them, just so we know what we're doing? Okay.
Yes.
And we get feedback back.
Yes, so we guide you through the whole entire, all the projects. So what we do is we will show you the science behind the project and show you how to do the project, and then you and your team will go work on the project. And if there are any questions, we address those questions. So once the project is finished, we will QA your project. So do quality review on it. If it's good, then we move on to another project. Go ahead, Alan.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Du, good evening. Real quick question for tomorrow's class, the internship, we're meeting at 10 a.m. or 11?
10. So now you are seniors, you are going to meet at 10.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
All right, everyone. Have a great evening. Kwame has a question. Go ahead, Kwame.
Well, I wanted to know when is the PCI 4.0 review coming up?
Oh, that'll be sent out this weekend. We are looking at, I think, Monday or Tuesday, but we will send that out. Right. Yeah. So for all PCI students from last year, last 2 years, our 4.0 makeup class is going to be this week, starting this week. Right. So be on the lookout for info on that. Right. And on that note, we are wrapping up. I appreciate everybody's time. We'll meet again next week for another edition, insightful edition of Cyber Chat. And have a great weekend. Stay safe.
Thank you, Dr. Du.
Thank you, Dr. Du. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Doc.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Du.
Thank you, Doc.